All right, welcome back, Pokemon Go players, to another episode of the Purified podcast. Today is August 23rd, 2023. I am your host, Luis Palacios, with my co-host, Chris.
Yo, 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 it's your boy, Pokemon Trigger, please. We're back at it again with another episode of the Purified podcast. It is hype. I know Pure is winding down from NYC. And, we're still looking forward to the Global coming up. So that's going to be hype, too.
This month has been probably the most hyped month of the entire year. I don't think there's anything that has stopped it yet. I mean, I know that we had some weird stuff happening the last few seasons and everything. So a lot of changes, a lot of things. But this weekend was insane. Definitely tired. Today also I had some interesting news happening. Just pray for my family. That's all I'm going to say on that. But yeah, it is what it is. The circle of life. Regardless of how maybe we're here once again to talk about Pokemon Go news, updates, and ranting about the game because we love the game just as much as everybody else. Don't forget to check us out at professornetwork.com/Purified podcast. Wonderful people to work with every single time. I literally met every single one of them during GOFEST again, and it's an experience to be told, and I will tell you today. So thank you. So I guess before I really start with my side, because my side is gonna be long. Chris, how about you tell us how your week went, how everything has gone?
Yeah, the little warm up.
You can even start with your halls if you want to. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't a crazy week. Honestly, I didn't get to play too much of the what is it? The Toxic Swamp event? What was the actual name for it? Nauseous Swamp?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't really get anything too substantial from that. I will say one of the weirder catches was a rank 1 Shadow Golduck. I don't think I'm ever going to use it, but, I got to keep those rank 1s.
Especially at Shadows.
But yeah. Definitely unique, I will say that.
Yeah.
But I think my shiny started with shiny Mudkip. I will mention really quick. No, I probably talked about that last week. But I did also get another shiny Galarian Zigzagoon. Those pop up like crazy. The only shiny I got from the event was a shiny repeat, but still an all right one. Shiny Surskit. Was really hunting that Skrelp or oh my gosh, what was the other one? Zubat. I really wanted a Zubat, but it's still gonna be a fun one to hunt in the future.
Yeah.
Yesterday, right after the event ended, I got 2 shinies. The Adventure Incense gave me a shiny Galarian Stunfisk. And then when I got home, the last catch before bed was a shiny Charmander. So I'll definitely take that. And then today I traded the shiny Kyogre I got from Raid Hour for a shiny Tapu Koko, which was new for me. So I was happy about that.
Tapu Koko definitely was one of those hard ones to get.
Yeah, I don't know why he just didn't want to shine for me, but it's all good. But yeah, tell me all about the Pokemon Go Fest NYC experience. I heard a lot of good things about it.
Oh my god, where do I even start? Because this was almost 3 days worth of like full on grind and just another day of relaxing. However, we're still there. So let me start with I guess the first thing that happens is that I go to my flight early as anything. I was there waiting for my flight to start. I get my breakfast, everything like that. Everybody's already, going crazy, even though I think GoFest started at 9 o'clock in the morning. And we're in the same time zone, so I know that anything that happens over there happens technically, it's the same time anyways. So I'm sitting at my gate, waiting for my flight to be called and ready to go and be like, okay, cool, let's go ahead and they're starting to board us and be like, okay, cool. However, then they actually tell us, oh, it's delayed. okay, 30 minutes. I'm like, okay. I mean, it does say that that it's only like 30 minutes and it isn't going to affect the timing that we get there. I was supposed to get there like at almost 10, so I knew that I was going to be like first hour or something. So I was like, cool, I mean, nothing's going to happen in the end of the day. Then I get a notification saying that my flight is delayed for an hour, like all the way to 8:30. I was like, okay, hold on, wait. Like they haven't told us to continue to start boarding fully yet, and they haven't made an announcement or anything like that. So we're like, okay, what's going on here? So they finally made an announcement saying that New York had some pretty bad weather this morning or that morning off, and the whole like ground and everything was like whatchamacallit, wet, and something happened and the airport that I was going to arrive and everything. So they said, okay, we're gonna give you a an update at 8:30 or something like that. And we're like, okay, a little confusing in some regard, but however the case may be. And then at that point I was already late. I mean, it was the flight was already late and delayed and whatever. So I was like, okay, whatever. So at 8:30 comes through. I was actually doing Go Battle League in my Wi-Fi. It was amazing. I did a full master set and I won all matches, so that's pretty good. With Rayquaza, mind you. Actually, no, with Geomancy Cernius. That's actually pretty cool. I was like, if I'm gonna wait, I might as well wait the right way, So keep myself in the hype of GOFEST and all that stuff. So we get in my plane. They tell me, okay, you can go ahead and board now. Or like, okay, cool, let's go ahead and board. Let's get things on. The flight, I think, like I said, it was delayed only for an hour, so we got there at like 11 instead of like 10 or something like that. And then we get there. Everything's cool. We get off the plane, nothing to worry about. And then I open my game, like when I'm on the plane, right around when we land, and spawns everywhere from GoFest already. Like I bought the ticket for Friday because I knew I was gonna at least, have my Go Plus running and things like that. We're gonna play and things like that and everything like that. But I opened my game, it was already like spawning Kangaskhan's, Golettes, Unknowns, everything. Like literally the airport was probably like the best hotspot at the time. There were also many raids. There were already Rayquaza raids around, Cernias and Diabeltos and Cresselia and everything around. So the experience was already started, and my Go Plus was already going ham. I did get one shiny Go Plus from the airport, and then I started getting tasks while I was walking to see where I needed to go because I wanted to get to my Airbnb, keep all my stuff in there and everything like that. Luckily, what I figured out is that my Airbnb was like 20 minutes away by walking. So instead of like, taking an Uber or an expensive something like that or the train or whatever, which mind you, I never really used the train or the buses. I said, let me just walk it just for the heck of it. I'm already here. I'm catching spawns, doing things like that. Put my incense on and let's rock and roll. So my Go Plus is going crazy. I'm starting to do some tasks. The first task for the event netted me a shiny Colette.
Yeah.
And I started opening 7KX, and I hand covered them. And because we had like 1/4 hash distance for the X, I got another one from the X too. So I got 2 shiny Golettes literally within the first 2 hours of the event, if anything.
Yeah,
so,
that's some sweat off the back.
I know, right? So I was like, okay, this is good. Like definitely Scrub and all the other ones were actually like another chase and things like that. But everything else, like Aerodactyl was spawning with the Chastron and everything. So that's something that everybody was looking for. So yeah, whatever the case may be, I get to my to the Airbnb with everybody. Everybody's already like up and about. It's already like close to midday or noon at that point. So I was like, okay, I know that the park experience ends at 1. So I can go ahead and relax a little bit, even though I could grind, go grind the city and everything like that at the time. But I said, okay, let me just go ahead and wait a little bit, message a couple of friends and be like, okay, who's where and what are we doing? So I messaged David, our good friend of the show from As the Pokemon Turns. Said, hey, what are you doing? It's like, oh, we're in the park still. We're going to be leaving pretty soon. Okay, so I'll meet you at the city. And because I know that the park experience is literally right next to Central Park. Like Ryan's Park is an island, but then you take a bridge. And then you can walk all the way to the city and then get to Central Park afterwards, which is pretty cool. That's what we also did our New York State of Grind with the Laura podcast and all the other podcasts out there. That was pretty hyped. I'll let you know in a second. We're still day one, so we're still in day one there. So I said, okay, let me go ahead and see if I can figure out how to use the train system and the bus system. Never figured it out. Took an expensive Uber and be like, okay, just drop me off at Central Park or something like that. I'm like, cool, that is perfect. So I start walking Central Park. Everything looks amazing. The weather is probably the most the best weather we can have anywhere. Nice and cool in the 70s, nice and windy too. Like I felt like I was in heaven when it comes down to the weather and things like that. Also, shiny check? No. Handle check? Nope. Okay. I tried, guys. So I meet up with David and we start walking, but of course he was already hungry. His gameplay day was on Friday. So that's the reason why he was in the park too, because when you're in the park and it's not your gameplay day, they geofence the entire park. So you were not able to see any spawns or stops or anything like that. And I get that mostly because in the end of the day, they want to prevent a lot of people going to the park and play the game throughout those experiences. That's the reason why we have a park experience and a city experience. But the city experience was also like insanely cool anyways. You can still see all the spawns of the biomes and everything like that. And keep doing tasks and things like that. Everything was all over the place in the end of the day, and that was pretty cool. So we go ahead and get lunch, like a late lunch. It was like 2:00 at that point, I guess, 2 or 3. And we're like, let's just get some pizza or something. And it's like we picked up some pizza along the way, sat down, talked. We had a, I don't know, like 18, 16-inch pizza, huge ass thing. It was only one, but between the two of us, we almost finished it. We left like one slice in the end of the day.
New York pizza.
New York pizza, right? We needed to at least have that too, So we finish eating and then we go grind more. We're still doing raids along the way, so we're doing Rayquazas, we're doing Javeltos, we're doing Cernias, we're doing everything that we can. And every time you go into a raid, there's like an instant 20 person lobby, which now that it happened also in Osaka or London. Once the raid lobby hits 20, the ready button goes away and it actually turns all the way to 10 seconds. So basically, perfect amount of time to do as many raids as you want to if you are really a raider at that point. So we go ahead and start walking again. We say, well, let's go ahead and try to walk Central Park. But to be told, it's a huge, huge park. It's probably like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like half the city at this point.
Really? Okay.
Well, yeah, at least where we were at. So we were like, okay, we're going to try to do our best. If we get too tired around the way, then let's just go ahead and take an Uber or something, or the trains or whatever, to just get to Bryant's Park, which is basically the location to play Pokemon Go in certain events like GOFEST or community days and things like that. Everybody goes to Bryant Park during the time. And it may not be a big park, but it is filled with stops and gyms and everything else in between. So you wanted to go there, that's the biggest space. So a lot of people are saying, oh, we're in Bryant Park, we're going to meet here and do this and that. A lot of our other friends from the Airbnbs and all the Laura podcast stuff and everything were already there. So David and I said, let's just F it, let's go ahead and take an Uber. Let's go ahead and get to Bryant's Park. So we take an Uber. We get there. I know David was already like pretty tired anyways, but still he was trying to do his best to at least accommodate. And I was already feeling it just by walking that long. Like it might have been like maybe 2 or 3 hours already walking, and it already felt like my legs were starting to kill me. But we get to Bryant's Park. Go Plus already is still going off. Let me see if I can actually get a little closer to when or how did I get some of the spawns or some of the catches here. Let's see. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, Shiny Shieldon, 2 Golets, Shiny Unknown O, which I think is my only Shiny Unknown this entire weekend. Surprisingly. Really? Yeah, I know. It was really bad. I go plus a Thor, a Nosepass. Actually, no, this Nosepass I caught myself because I was already like desperate to get one. Surskit, Tyron, Surskit, Slugma, Heatmore. Like a lot of them were really just Go Plus catches. And I was actually happy about that because I got the Boltoy, which I never had a Boltoy before, so it was actually pretty cool. I did get a Skrull from a field research tax in New York, so at least I was able to get that pretty easily. And again, we're still talking day one because this is the 18. Yeah, we're still talking day one. Go plus, go plus, go plus. Go plus was going ham actually.
Yeah, I'm like, dear Lord.
At one point, I just turned on the Go Plus automatically and let it actually sit catching Pokemons. So yeah, the last Pokemon on day one was Roggenrola. I did get another Snorlax, a Benepete, a couple of Benepetes. So I know, Chris, you probably want some too.
Maybe
Right.
one.
Some Shroomish, some Slugmass, and an Archon. I know you want another Archon too.
Yeah, that one I already have.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd gladly trade for that in the future.
So I continue on playing for a little bit longer. We don't get to Times Square, but some price on this Times Square is literally like maybe a block or two off from Bryant's Park. So it really was like the heaven place of Pokemon Go. Like you could just be there all day and doesn't matter what you do. The day goes on. We meet up with a few people. We met up with JT Valor, a few people from other podcasts. We met up with Jamal and it wasn't Luglan. I don't remember. I think it's Mike. Sorry if I'm not remembering very well right now, just because I mostly remember faces more than names.
I'm the same way.
So we meet up with them. Trainer Mystic is there, which I didn't know he was that young. He's like 20 years old. Holy crap. And then Mikey, one of our good friends, just from the Discords, from the Lure Up and everything. So we all got meet up and we're like, okay, let's go ahead and get dinner. Me and David already kind of ate dinner, or kind of like a late dinner or early late dinner, whatever the case may be. But we went to a bar.
A really early breakfast.
Right, something like that. So we went to just a little bar in Times Square. We sat down. We were all destroyed. Our legs were already destroyed anyway, so are like, please don't hurt me. We sat there for a few hours, had a couple of drinks. It was actually kind of nice because, we were kind of like catching up from just the day itself and then other times. Haven't seen Jamal or any of the other people in a while, so it was kind of nice. Had some cool pictures taken and everything. So then at that point, we kind of went back to Bryant's Park, but then we split up and said, okay, it's time to go home, rest up, because some of us actually have the day. Most of us, at least 90% of us, had day 2 for GoFest. So we're like, okay, let's go home and rest up, so we are ready for the week. We really don't fully go home until or at least go into the Airbnb until 10. And that's because I took a train back to Queens, where we're staying at, and then had to do another 20-minute walk to get to the Airbnb. At that point, my legs were already destroyed. I couldn't even feel one of them. I was walking like a halfling, It's like... I get to the Airbnb, I take a shower, and then I just pass out. I mean, I talked to a couple of people that were back. We had Just Will. He's actually the co-host of the Special Conditions podcast for TCG. For the Professor Network too, just out there to mention. I know Adam and Ken from the Lura had his own things plus some meetups, so they technically we didn't see them in the afternoon that time or the nighttime then. Sir Amanda from the Discord, Jody, who is Just Will's fiance, and a few other people that I can't remember the name of, but we had enough people, for the Airbnb. I was in a bunk bed, but it was actually kind of nice because I was at the bottom, so. And then we go to sleep after taking a shower and everything. I was just that tired. It has been a long day because I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning the morning off, and I had to literally be there until 10 or 11. So I was already insanely tired. So I went to sleep, and then wake up the next day. So we're like, okay. So before we actually went to sleep, we said, okay, do we really need to be at the park at the time of start? I'm like, no, I think we can just get there a little bit late if we need to. I'd really just want to get some breakfast or things like that. And then we went to sleep. And then when we woke up, we were like, okay, let's wake up 7:30, 8, so that way we can go. Technically, in an Uber, it only takes us maybe less than 20 minutes to get to the park. So that's actually pretty nice. We got ourselves into the group, the 4 of us. We went to get some breakfast, a nice little corner that we found, some nice bagels with some sausages and eggs and cheese. That was pretty good. I can still taste it. Just Will actually ordered us an Uber and we went to the park. Surprisingly, We got there like 5 minutes before the event started. We were like, okay, well, perfect timing. I don't know how the hell we did it because I felt like we were already like super late at that point. I didn't know it was gonna take us that early to get there, anyways. So we get to the park. We finally are in, Brian's Park, which is all the adventures of it, and then the event starts. We got cool things like the volcano area. You've been to Go Tour, Chris, so you know that there's like all the stuff that they actually do. The park itself is huge, like really really big. But they're only like using like a good chunk of it to make sure that we can walk around and do all the stuff. So we had the 4 different biomes. Was it 4 or 5? I don't remember at this point. Mind you, I was doing task, and I got from the special research, I got a satchel Elractyl with shiny, of course. That's pretty cool.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. Then my Go Plus started running again. Tentacool, Surmish, Hitmonlee, another Baltoy, another Surmish, Benepi, Cranidos, Sableye, Slugma. I traded it for a Groudon, shiny, and of course it's bad as hell. Another Snorlax, another Squirrel. Is this research? Yes, that was in the wild actually. 12 CP Squirrel, and another Tyron. So I had like 3 Tyrons at that point. 2 Gulpins, another Squirrel, another Axew, Thor, Snorlax, another Golett. I think this was the wild one. Yeah, that was the wild one. No more eggs hatching for that one. I traded for a shiny Rayquaza. It wasn't too bad, but it was the worst. Then a Durant. I actually am happy about the Durant because I never had an actual Durant in my account that wasn't traded. So that's pretty cool, I guess. To continue on, because at that point I'm moving a little bit more into the shinies, I think from outside of the park. I don't even remember how many I actually got into the park, now that I think about it. Because it was just like all over the place, and kept on going. So the park itself, I met up with a couple of locals. Also met up with Trainer Ram, very cool PvP guy from Twitch. I saw Lord Drew, which actually is a Canadian Pokemon Go streamer that I usually go out and, or at least I hang out with. And so I found him pretty quickly, and that was pretty cool. I took some pictures there. The park, we have our live gym, like an actual real life gym in the center of the park. That was pretty cool. We met up with Lurap, Special Conditions, a lot of other friends, Jamal, GoCast Chris, GoCast Kyle. And yeah, that was that just crazy as it is in the other day. So I kept walking around between parks and parks. We did have a little mishap in between biomes, because from one biome to the other, we had an entrance between underneath the bridge that actually it was supposed to either in or out from the park. But you go under the bridge and then you go to the other section and then you get to the poison biome and the athletic biome and all that stuff. And then, but because of the in between, there's not many spawns or stops during that part, so they don't really give you that much. And it was actually like really bad crowded. The way to get in and out. Some people were actually using the road, and I don't think Niantic wanted that. They fixed the circulation of that pretty soon, but it took them a couple of hours. However, I go into the poison swamp and the athletic swamp and the athletic field, and everything seemed cool. Not the one that I wanted to spend my most time off. It's just a couple of things here or there with the crabbing quest, field research crabbings, which crabbing also was giving you Mega Diancie energy when you catch one. So that's actually pretty interesting, just because it's the same typing.
I like the lore behind that.
Yeah. And of course, you gotta go through every single one of the biomes to really be finishing up the special research. So I get to that biome. I met up with the locals, and I see a lot of other people. Like, what did I saw there? I saw Mystic 7. I took a picture with him. I saw the cruise ship, and what's the last one? Oh, Brandon 10. So everybody was everywhere at that point. So it wasn't easy to really find them, but they were there. Most of the time, I'd be like, "Hey, here's this guy," So
get a picture from afar.
Right. Still pretty cool. when it came down to it, is at least be able to see a lot of those creators. I know some other creators were actually like ready to roll with their meetups and everything, so the novel trainers and all the stuff really wasn't something that I wasn't really interested in going, because most of them are already my friends anyways. So I'm not going to time to time. If I had the time to meet them, great. Sometimes I couldn't. Oh well, it is what it is. We'll get there next year, and that would be pretty cool, right, Chris? Like Niantic will fly us out next year, right?
Yeah, any day of the week. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
Work. Yeah, I'm sick. Sorry.
So
I'm gonna be sick. The whole Pokemon GoFest. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be sick tomorrow. Yeah.
So yeah. So once I meet up with our locals, we just started grinding a little bit more, doing as many races as possible. I was doing as many Yveltos, as many Sarnias, because if you guys don't know, you do get the special location card in the background of each one of the legendaries. It's not it's a chance of getting them. It's not guaranteed, but of course you want to get a cool background shiny or something like that, which I did get with my Kyogre during Gold Tour Hoenn, but everything else seemed to be crappy anyway. So I was hoping to get another Hondo and repeat the process this year, but
oh my gosh,
maybe. I definitely wanted the Cernius the more, but of course Rayquaza was spawning. Now here's the thing about the park. They did not spawn Mega Rayquazas in the park when you had your park experience.
Weird.
They were spawning Salamence, Cresselias, Yveltos, and Cernias, and also 1-stars and 3-stars with Aerodactyl and Carvings. So technically, it was kind of like you didn't want to do that many raids. You just wanted to like create all the spawns. But I was having the Gold Plus running the entire time anyway, so we get a lot of shinies. We also have like random golden lures that do give you some coins. But it was mostly for restocking. So if you actually sit like in a place where they had like 3 golden lures, you just had like all the Pokeballs and Greyables in the world. Niantic did not want you to fail any shinies. I can tell you that much.
Good.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Right. So yeah, the park experience was pretty great, but then time was running out. We knew by 1:00 the spawns were going away. They did do the what they call the photo op at the end, almost at the end. They gathered a lot of people. They actually put a lot of gyms in that specific area. I think it's just to allure the players to actually go there and be like, hey, here's a photo, kind of thing, I actually got there a little too late, because by the time I realized it was there, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, never mind, it is what it is. Hey, how's it going, Lord Drew? We met him too I just said we met him in GoFest. Even though it was only for like a moment's worth, it was still pretty cool to actually beat him for the first time.
Every moment matters.
Every moment matters, yeah. It's the experience that counts, So that's that. So 1:00 rolls around, the park is like technically over. If you had your game open, the stops were still there, but you couldn't catch any Pokemon. No Pokemon were spawning, anything like that. The gyms were there. And once you restarted your game, it was already Geomance the entire time, so you couldn't be able to. So we met up with the Lure Up crew and all the other podcasts. Finally saw the Roundtable chat out again. I did a special trade with one of the co-hosts. We also had As the Pokeball Turns. We had, I already said Lure Up, Way Spotters, a bunch of other podcasts out there, and we were ready for our state of grind. So we started walking out of the park doing the bridge. That's like a 2-mile hike. Holy crap. Oh, yeah, I'll check that when you got it. If you have a clip, I'll check it out, Lord Drew. He said he has a clip for catching his Diancie. So we started walking out of the park. We're already tired. We're like, okay, it's time to get some lunch, because it was already pretty late in the afternoon, 1:00, almost to 1:30 by the time we started walking. We met up with Omnisec, which is a New York-based Pokemon Go YouTuber and player out in New York City. Pretty amazing to actually meet him for the first time. And I didn't know he was Puerto Rican until he told me, so that's actually pretty cool too. So I know he speaks Spanish. Ha. So when we got there, my local friends were also there with me. Again, the Go Plus was running crazy and mud and everything, so more shinies were around. Then we were trying to do the walk, and then some of us were like, hey, let's go ahead and get some lunch before we really start walking this, because it's going to take us a while. So I asked Omnisec for a good place to eat. He recommended a good Puerto Rican place. Unfortunately, we wanted to sit down because we were still very tired from the day before and the same day of already walking in the park. So instead of that, we went to a Mexican place. We had some nice food. I destroyed my stomach with some spices. As Mexican, I'm not Mexican, but it is what it is when it comes down to it. Kept doing raids, kept doing everything. I hatched a random Mawile, shiny Mawile. I don't know why it hatched, but it hatched. It has the New York tag, I guess. Another Golette, caught in the wild. A Lucario. I think this Lucario was Gold Plus, the shiny Lucario.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a funny one.
More Voltoys, more Pincers, Vipers. I know I did a Lugia tray. Oh, yeah, this was actually... Okay, so day 2, they still netted me at least like 10 shinies. I was actually happy about that. So we started doing the walk again. We were trying to catch up to the group because they were doing like raids and all those things. So it's kind of hard to catch up to them because they would continue walking and we were always like at least a little bit behind. I also needed to go to the bathroom real fast, so I went to the bathroom as soon as I could. That's the experience you get when there's no public bathrooms everywhere. But you find one and you finally can use one. But yeah, we finally caught up to them. We were doing some more raids. Then half of the group said, okay, we're starting to get a little tired to do the full walk because we were supposed to go from the park itself all through Central Park. Like, so the entire long way of Central Park. Like, seriously, the entire long way. If you actually seen Central Park, it's huge. So to actually get to the end of that was almost impossible if you wanted to do a full-on walk from one end to the other, unless you had at least 3 hours on your time. And, of course, doing raids and stops and everything else in between. So that all of that, just caught up to us in the end of the day. So half of the group said, okay, let's go ahead and take a bus and let's get to Bryant Park. Once again, Bryant Park being the best place to play Pokemon Go. And then, yeah, we split up. We got to the park. We took a bus this time. It was actually pretty cool because it's the first time I used the bus in New York. We get to Bryant's Park, and then, of course, they started catching again, meeting with other people. We saw JT Ballard after a few times. Omnisec was there, too. Laura finally caught up to us afterwards because they wanted to actually do the walk entirely. What else did we did? We did a couple of things. So aside from doing raids and walking about, what we call it. Oh, yeah. So we were going to go to dinner with the whole crew. Once again, I kind of split up for a second because I needed to do something. And then by the time I caught up to them, they were already getting a place to eat. So me and my friends, my locals, Fern and the wife, his wife, they actually said, okay, we're not going to wait 30 minutes or something. We want to sit down as soon as possible. So we actually had found a Chinese place like right next to where they were staying. So I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and sit there. It wasn't too busy. And let's get a couple of drinks. And then, of course, start Chinese food. It was pretty good. I loved it. And then actually at that point, we were almost at the end of the event. It was around 6-something, 6-ish at the time of the event. And then Pokemon Go tweeted something that we actually, when we check our socials, something happened. So they said that the trainers at the park experience in the afternoon for Verizon players were having difficulties logging into the game. They're like, okay, well, that seems pretty bad for the players, or for at least who is actually in the afternoon experience and all that. So to compensate for that, once they fixed the issues, instead of actually giving the Verizon players, compensation of whatever happened, they actually extended the gameplay experience for city players and everybody else for 3 more hours. So instead of ending at 7 o'clock at night, we ended at 10 o'clock at night. So that's another 3 hours of walking, raiding, and catching spawns for the rest of the night. Holy Jesus. My friends...
That worked out.
I know, right? My friends actually decided to say, okay, we really are a little bit tired. We have to get ready for tomorrow because they actually had to fly out on Sunday anyways. So we split up. I went ahead and went back to the group. They were still getting their dinner because it was like a group of 16 people, so it was a lot of food going around. So I said, hey, let me go ahead and do a couple of raids, and by the time you guys finish, let me know. I'll be at Bryant's Park at the end of that, since we were pretty close to Bryant's Park anyways. I walk around New York City, Times Square. Times Square looks amazing. Everybody's just playing Pokemon Go around. You could just see everybody going haywire. I saw Doom Buggy somewhere around the area. I think Spirits Cheese was also there too, but I just couldn't see him for unfortunate times. But yeah, so it was just all around, everywhere, do this, do that. And then by the time we got to Bryant Park, everybody else, Laura up and everybody finally caught up. And we were sat there for a couple hours. Some of us wanted to do the GOFEST meetup at 10 at one place called our Barcade. It was basically a bar with arcade games all around, so it was actually pretty cool. And it wasn't too far from our location. It was like a 20-minute walk. And it was around Times Square at that point. So we're like, okay, cool, let's go ahead and do that. So we split up with the other part of the groups. Like 3 or 4 of us like won't go to the bar. Of course, we're still playing the event. It was from 9 to 10. It was still the last hour of the event. So we went from, instead of a 20-minute walk, it took us a full hour. Because we were doing raids here and there. Like, okay, so go here, we do this raid. Go here, we do this raid. Go here, we do this raid. And then we just, by the time we actually got there, it was already 10. And then we finally, the day ended. We sat down. We were incredibly tired. I could barely even stand. I was like lying down into the wall and be like, we got a couple of drinks with the crew. It was kind of fun. Everybody started to split off. And by the time we actually we were back, it was like midnight. So remember, we started the day at 8 o'clock in the morning or somewhere around that time until midnight. That was 17 hours worth of gameplay, bro. Plus, friends.
Dear Lord.
My watch usually has charge for the entire day. No, that thing died like in between because of everything they did. I walked over 20,000 steps almost each day. At one point, I think Saturday was like over 30 million steps. Or 30,000 steps, I guess.
Broken leg.
I know, right? So yeah, that was Saturday, which was another crazy time. Again, just seeing a lot of people and meeting everybody, what we did and what we're doing. We play a lot of games in between, board games that Sarah Amanda was actually bringing us, so that's actually pretty cool. And then we go to sleep. We finally get back to the hotel, the Airbnb. I take a shower and I pass out. Like literally, I didn't even think about anything else. Just like full on into the bed, done. We wake up on Sunday. We don't rush to get out, of course, because again, it's just a gameplay experience at that point. I think it was like 9 o'clock, I believe. Also, Trade Mystic, how you doing? Hello. I was gonna say, so we wake up late, somewhere around 8, maybe 9. 8:30 or 9. I was already like, my body just wakes me up at like somewhat early, but I was just laying in bed and of course like making sure my eyes were shut at that point. I know I've been talking for a couple minutes. Sorry, y'all. So luckily enough, there was somebody who helped a local player who was not able to go to New York. His name is Lachan. He was the original host or co-host for the Way Spotters until he retired from it. Hold on, let me do this right because I don't know if I can still do this right. Yeah, I can still do this right. Cool.
Dude, have you seen how many shiny unknowns Fleece King has?
Oh God, no, I don't even want to know.
He posted 4 hours ago. He has 71.
Jesus.
Dear Lord.
Multiples of everything. He probably has the whole collection at this point.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So, wake up on Sunday. Everybody's doing their own thing. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and take an Uber into the city once again and then just start playing again. Just keep on catching. And I was doing raids. At some point on Sunday, I was just by myself, just trying to do as many raids as possible. I was hunting for the Rayquaza Hundo. I did not have a Hundo until at some point in the day. So we go through the entire day. I meet up with other people. I see Purple Kyogre, JT Ballard again. I meet up with a couple of people there from the other Airbnbs. I meet up with David again. He seemed pretty defeated already. I didn't know why he was there anymore. He was just like really, really tired. We grabbed some lunch. Still running the Go Plus. Still getting shinies. We got a nice little cool like breakfast lunch place down in Times Square. I think the name was Red Lining or Rain Lining, or something like that. Whatever the case may be, we had lunch there and we continue doing Central Park, or not Central Park, Bryant's Park and everything. I know a lot of the other creators were doing a lot of meetups, but I barely even have the legs to walk where they are. So I kind of like stayed around Rams Park and just do as many races as possible. I did Yveltos once again, Rayquazas to get my energy, to get the Hundo, get maybe the location card, cool background and everything. That would have been cool. I finally, when I was going to the Nintendo store, because the Nintendo store is not too far from where we were playing, I finally get 2 shiny Rayquazas back to back.
Oh my gosh.
After doing I don't know how many raids throughout the weekend. Then I found Trainer Club, going around doing a couple of raids with the community. To be told, he actually had a pretty cool interaction with the police on Saturday, because he had his meetup in Bryant's Park. And I would say maybe 1,000 people joined that meetup.
Ooh.
In Bryant's Park, and that was just insane. So the police actually was pretty nice and said, we're going to give you an escort. Just make sure you let us know where you need to be. So they went raid to raid to make sure that they do as many requests as possible, you know?
Yeah.
So I saw him there. He wasn't with a bigger group anymore on Sunday, but he was actually doing a couple of raids with some of his community. I saw Fleeskin just rocking around until we finally catch up to him and Bryant's Park once again. Again, just going around the entire city at that point. So it was almost the end of the event. It was around 6:30 when I finally got to Bryant's Park again, and finally for the first time seeing Fleeskin. Not the first time that I met him, but the first time I see him the entire weekend. Yeah. So I'm still doing Rayquaza raid at the time, and lo and behold, the Honda Rayquaza finally shows in my screen on the last raid that I did. I was super nervous because 1, it's not shiny, and 2, it didn't have the location card. However, I only have 8 balls to catch it, because unfortunately for some reason it just, they don't give it that many Pokeballs or Premier Balls to actually catch the legendaries or even primals in that sense. So I'm sweating, like I'm going, okay, do it slowly, do it nice. I get to the second to last ball, y'all, and I freaking get it. Okay. That's how bad the experience for me getting Rayquaza. I said, it was already almost the end of the event. It was like maybe 5 minutes before it ended, and I was like, I'm out. I'm taking the train back to the Airbnb, and I'm not getting out of that Airbnb until Monday, which my flight on Monday was later on in the day. Shiny check, no. Hondo head check, not even close.
Dude, that's brutal, because like you finally get the Hundo and you only got 8 balls, so they're just trying to make you like sweat.
I was sweating bullets. If I didn't get then, I would have done whatever was left over for the event, because again, it was the end. It was the last day of the event. It was the last day of the event to get a Rayquaza. I mean, granted, I probably would have done enough during Global anyways, but still. So yeah, I go ahead and take the train. I'm like, I'm done. This is it. This is my goal. This was my goal the entire weekend. I didn't care if it didn't have a location card. I gave it as a Dragon Ascent, a Mega Evolve, and I'm done. So I went back. My feet were fully destroyed. I had blisters all over my feet. Shout out to my shoes. Somehow they survived.
Working overtime.
That's what I'm saying. So I was like hurting really, really, really badly. So I get back to the Airbnb, doing the train and the 20-minute walk, even though I was already done for the week. And yeah, so I went ahead and we hang out with Adam from the Lure Up and the Special Conditions. They actually bought the new TCG Disney set thing, Alora Cora, whatever it's called. Lorcana, yeah. So that was actually pretty cool to see gameplay. We play a couple of board games with the community for a little bit longer. Some of them actually met us up, and we were like playing like Werewolf and World War or whatever the game may be. And then we were like, okay, we're done. I'm out. It's like I pissed out. I go ahead and go to my bed and then just like sleep for the rest of the night. So
you earned it.
Yeah, I did. Actually, I don't think I remember sleeping until like 1 because I was just talking to some people anyways. So yes, our checkout was at 11 on Monday. I didn't have my flight back until like 6 o'clock that same afternoon. So I was like, let's go back to the city and then just meet up with a couple people who are left before they actually leave. Everybody's starting to disperse little by little. And we were like, okay, cool. We got to Bryant's Park one more time. Of course, it still was a little bit lower up here and there, but it wasn't as crazy. They were still doing. A lot of people were still doing Yveltos and Usernias. And yeah, that's when we ended. I took the train back. Luckily, I was able to code in a good travel back from Bryant Park to the airport. And yeah, that was pretty much it. That was my day in New York City. 10 out of 10, we'll do it again.
Yeah, literally, the only thing I heard people complain about was like, in my opinion, not like a huge complaint, but like having a hard time getting to the actual uh like park to play the game. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like that everywhere. You know, like you're not gonna get a close place pretty much anywhere.
Yep. Yep. No, like I said, it was just it's always amazing to see an entire city literally lit up with Pokemon Go. Just meeting a bunch of people, seeing a lot of the creators. They're just all going around. I know Mystic 7 was all around the place, anyways. But people like that, it's just amazing to see. I know a lot of people had the meetups. I know Nick, trainer Tips, actually was a little bit sick during the weekend.
Oh,
So he only was able to do the meetups and then go back into the hotel and just rest the entire day. The man is also been walking around since Japan, anyways. So, but yeah, that was my experience. I know I've been telling literally my entire experience of what happened throughout the weekend, but it was fun. It was just amazing. Our local friends, they even said the same. It's like I would do it again if I had the chance, because it was just amazing to be out with everybody. So yeah, 10 out of 10 New York. Thank you so much for hosting us. Thank you for being there. Chris, next time you're going.
yeah.
There's no yeah, you're happening.
No, I'm definitely trying to.
Yeah. But yeah, so we do have some news today. We may actually go a little bit quicker and skip PvP section this week. Just because I already ran for over half an hour. So
Yeah, I will say from PvP, there's not really anything too crazy with PvP after Worlds. So
yeah, and plus the last season is happening, or the last part of the season is happening. So it is how it is. All right, so to research topics of the day, the very first thing looks like Brazil is having some notable trainers happening in Global GoFest. Global GoFest happening in the world, but Brazil for some reason is taking part of some special announcement meetups. So happening on August 26th and 27th, this meetup has physical Pokestops, photo ops, and tons of activity for new and veteran trainers alike. Trainers will also, Drowsy finally got up to me. Trainers will also have the chance to meet notable trainers from the community over the 2-week-day event, or 2-day event, I guess. Each novel trainer will have a designated daily activity you can take part in, plus photographs and photo ops. You will be able to celebrate all over Brazil in selected parks and local communities. So they go over the global meetup with Sao Paulo in Brazil.
yeah, that's a ton of parks that
And
are having this go on.
Yeah, they have a lot of location parks and everything. I'm not gonna name them all because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna butcher every single one of them. But if you want to go ahead and
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of them. So if you want to check out the location parks, if anybody from Brazil is listening to us, make sure you are aware that you're getting some pretty cool experiences out there. So keep that in mind. And I'm glad that they're doing some kind of global meetup with a lot of other players out there. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Any thoughts, Chris?
Yeah. Looks like a lot of fun. I'm glad they're doing it in a lot of different areas of Brazil too, not just one. So I think that gives a lot of more local players a good chance to not get too bothered by people coming in either.
Correct. So yeah, that's that. You want to go ahead and talk about the next part of the news there, Chris?
Yeah, sure. So these are some important dates for the next season, community days. So, ask your time off early, or, just put them in your calendar so you know. So Hidden Gems is behind us, but here's the next season. Starting September 2nd, there's going to be a Community Day Classic that they're keeping hidden from us. Saturday, September 23rd is going to be a community day. Sunday, October 15th. Sunday, November 5th. And Saturday, November 25th is going to be another community day classic. The community days aren't the only events on the horizon. Here are a few days for other events. I see Zach is getting excited thinking one of the classics is going to be Beldum. That does seem like a high possibility, especially with the Mega on the horizon. But the other events that aren't community days are going to be Sunday, September 17th, Saturday, September 30th, Saturday and Sunday, and that's going to be October 7th through the 8th. And then Saturday, October 21st, and then Saturday, November 11th. They're not saying what they are, but they seem to be one-day events, except for that one event that's looking like a two-day event.
Yeah, very interesting dates. They're definitely breaking a little bit of their formula this season, or well, this coming season, I guess. Having two classics on the same season is a little bit unheard of from them, but I guess they have their reasons. And then, of course, every other community day out there. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to. Well, I'll be able to participate in all of them. It's just that I won't be able to be right at the beginning of each one of the events, especially on Saturdays, because I believe I'm gonna be working a lot of Saturdays after this month. So. As for the dates, I'm pretty sure they're mostly one-day events, maybe a research day, maybe a red hatch day. I'm not entirely sure. There are some leaks in the internet. I'm not going to be certain when it is. We'll let them know when it's actually all the full news. So we're probably not going to have all the news of the next month's season until after Global anyways, because they don't want everybody to be like, I don't got to play Global anymore. I'm like, yeah, no, you will. That's not happening anyways. So yeah, that's are the dates. Make sure you save them. We do have some pretty cool news for Global, actually. So Global is not ending, but just the things that we have been talking about. There's more details happening for Global. So are you ready, Chris, for the biggest event of the year?
The biggest event?
Yeah.
You mean Adventure Week? No, I'm joking. Yeah.
No, Halloween. Yeah. So
Pokemon GoFest is gonna be hype. Yeah.
So Pokemon GoFest 2023 Global happening Saturday and Sunday, August 26th and 27th. Do not miss it. If you can make it, play it. There's again free parts of the game, and there's also ticketed parts of the event. You could definitely just play the normal free event part of it and still get some pretty cool stuff anyways. We know that you can join anywhere you are, including some appearance in shiny forms for the first time. Upgrade your experience with the ticket event, yes, we already talked about. Habitat rotations will be happening just like this. Quartz Therium, which is like the fairy Harry type, I don't know. 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. and then 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. So it's an hour each for each habitat, just in different times of the day. Then Pirate Sands, 11 to 12, 3 to 4. Malachite Wilderness? I don't know.
Malachite.
Okay, thank you. English is hard, y'all. Anyways, 12
it's
to
a
1,
weird one.
And then 4 to 5, and then Aquamarine Shorts from 1 to 2, and then 5 to 6 to end the event. So again, this event, Global, at least each day happening from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. local time. Get your breakfast, get your lunch. I'm going to be riding the car because my legs are destroyed. Anyhow, there's also going to be a Field Reaches Bonanza. Bonanza? However.
No, you said it good.
Okay, cool. Saturday, August 26th. Trainers will be able to collect new Field Reach stacks from Pokestops each hour at 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. local time. So,
bravo.
For the first time in 7 years, Niantic understands that we don't want to have the same task already completed in each stops for the entire day of the event. If you're just going to stay at one place to play, you're actually going to be rewarded because you can actually play in the same park every hour with different tasks every hour. That looks pretty cool. But well, that means Chris and I will probably be grinding to different places during the weekend.
Yeah. Even with the different refreshing of the quest, it's still likely we're going to be going between two different areas.
Yeah. The faster that we finish it, the better. And of course, we'll be doing a lot of race in between. So it's going to be one of those hunts for anyways. I'm pretty sure a lot of them are going to be carvings too. So make sure you are aware that carving will be in field research. Chris is happy with that. Ready to race.
I still don't have one, man.
Right. Ready for raid battles. Trainers around the world can now start raiding battles more quickly by using the raid button. We already mentioned that the raid button happens to once it has a full capacity of 20 players, it will go down to 10 seconds. The timer will reduce to 10 seconds, and then the raid will start. So we hope to enable these trainers for your favorite raid bosses. However, there is a little bit of news adding to that, and this is what they are. Niantic support actually tweeted that during GoFest 2023, the remote raid limit, it's no more for those 2 days. So unlimited raid mode raids for the entire weekend, y'all. Lord have mercy.
Take my money.
Yeah, definitely. Now, the community is kind of split into this kind of thing, mostly because people do want to raid. That's pretty cool, but the price will stay the same. So do remember, if you're going to spending some time doing remote raids, that times there is going to be more expensive than other years for that reason. So keep an eye on the shop too, and the web store. They usually have some pretty cool discounts there for remote raids and everything like that. So take advantage of it if you can.
Yeah, I can't recommend enough to just try and get that mega energy for Rayquaza with a group, especially if you don't have a good local community.
Make sure you got your ice type ready, y'all, because that's basically what we're gonna need. Still gets destroyed in one shot. So, something it's coming back this global GoFest, and that is the Ultra Unlock. During each Habitat Hour of Saturday, ticket holders, trainers around the world will be able to work together to complete a global challenge. If the challenge is completed in time, a special bonus will be unlocked for the remainder of the hour for ticket holder trainers. Plus, if trainer completes 20 successful challenges, they will activate this year's Pokemon Go Fest Ultra Unlock bonuses. A question mark adventure? A special to be announced event taking place on Tuesday, September 5th at 10 a.m. to Sunday, September 10th at 10 a.m. local time, regardless of the number of challenges trainers are able to complete. The Ultra Unlock will unlock some 1-star raids, 5, I don't know if it's brand new Pokemons or not, but 5 1-star raids with shiny potential. They're all question marks right now, so this is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're new Pokemons. I don't know if they're holding on to Pokemons. I don't know if there's going to be shiny Pokemons, or maybe Pokemons that we're just going to we haven't seen in a while. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, if Ultra Unlocks have always been kind of like the nitpick of the adventure in the end of the day, because everybody wants to make sure that they complete it. But we'll definitely, most likely complete it, because everybody's going to be playing GoFest anyways.
Oh, yeah.
A free time research Ultra Unlock. A feature question mark time research will be available throughout the event. Also, for the first time in Pokemon Go, you're going to encounter a shiny question mark if you're lucky. So a brand new shiny. I don't know if it's going to be a new shiny that we had, or a Pokemon that we had already, or a brand new one that's going to come out.
Imagine it's just shiny unknown question mark.
Well, damn.
So they're just memeing us.
Damn.
I doubt it, but that would be funny.
That would be, yeah. And also, the Ultra Unlock bonuses, 4 times catch experience and 4 times catch Stardust. Oh, baby. Chris is not worried about the experience anymore, though.
No, but yeah, that Stardust grind is always a real thing, and it is good to have XP for the future, just in case.
Also, to know that I actually had 250,000 or 250 million experience reach in my account. So that's pretty cool. Then we have another Ultra Unlock. So if trainers complete a total of the 20 global challenges, they'll gain access to the to-be-announced special event that will take place on Sunday, September 10th at 10 a.m. local time to Friday, September 15th at 8 p.m. local time. So it's going to be a packed jam of Ultra Unlock this next month. Pokemon debuts will be the following Pokemons. Question mark Bug type, question mark Electric type, question mark Flying type, and question mark Ice type. Man, those question marks are pretty cool. So they're holding on and off, of course, because by the time Global GoFest ends, we'll have the Ultra Unlocks unlocked. They're definitely going to be telling us probably the Monday off at that point, and we'll have the news ready for you guys for the next podcast when it comes down to it, which will actually be by the end of the season. We'll give our thoughts to the end of the season at that point. So Ultra Unlock, Global GoFest. Chris, are you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah,
I'm
I'm super excited, man.
I'm not. Just,
Your legs aren't, but the rest of your body.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, my heart is on it, but not everything else. But you know what I mean. Anyways, but yeah, that's that. Also, just to end our news section today, we did get a promotional video from Pokemon Go saying more raids, more friends, and more adventures coming soon. What do you mean by that? I don't know. So they posted like a 3-minute video of basically just. I'm not gonna show the entire video, and I'm definitely not going to, have copyright music and all that stuff here. So the video just goes around a trainer that playing Pokemon Go, meet up with new trainers. It has some really cool music. They do a couple of raids, like a Kleavor raid at the beginning, and then it circles around the same thing that they're doing with other raids. So first is Kleavor raid, then the next one is a legendary raid. So they do like a Suicune raid, which I think at this point Suicune is gonna come back. Then the third time around, they do a elite raid, I think. Yes, they go ahead and do an elite raid with Unbound Hoopa.
I know people got PTSD looking at that.
Yeah, I know, right? So that's interesting. And then the fourth time around, we see Tingle Rockets, and then looks like they are doing a Shadow raid with Shadow Mewtwo back in the mix. Which I think this is just to promote, the Shadow race, because we already, had Shadow Mewtwo at that point. But a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Shadow Mewtwo is gonna come back." I'm like, really?
Yeah, it looks just like a recap of what happened.
Yeah. Which was
like, are we gonna get Kleavor raids again soon too?
Yeah. And then they go over like the amount of raids: 1 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars on community days, legendary raids, mega raids, elite raids, and shadow raids. So we have like plenty of raids to go around when it comes down to Pokemon Go. It's really interesting in the end of the day. And then at the end of the video, like a little like after credits kind of thing, they do show Mega Rayquaza for all the GoFest and the global, of course. So make sure you're prepared to train on that. Like I said, I didn't want to show the full video. It's 3 minutes long, so I don't know if you guys want to listen to the video. And if you're not really watching it with us, then there's no point really. It's on their Twitter, so you guys go around, and yeah, we'll be ready for raids as always. And yeah, we're gonna skip GPL mostly, or PvP section. Get good, correct. We're not here yet, Chris. Don't worry about it. But yeah, so GBL and everything we'll have to wait for next week. We are at the end of the season. That's all I'm gonna say. Last week technically, and if you're not gonna get legend, well, too bad, so sad. All right, Chris.
All I can say is good luck next season. Yeah.
All right, Chris. I think that is it for us today. We kept it pretty nice and tight for almost an hour-long podcast. So thank you so much, Chris. How about you don't take us away from the 9 yet, because I haven't actually completed the podcast yet.
Surprise.
Right? Thank you so much for everybody for listening to the podcast. Make sure you check us out, podcast feeds, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, many of those places to go. If you can leave us a review, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. Follow our social media, Purified Podcast, for anything podcast related news or Pokemon Go related news. Pure Let It Go and Pokemon Trigger Please. If you don't know what it is, it's PKMN Trigger Please with a Z at the end. Email us anything, any cool pictures. If you took pictures with us, make sure you send that us to purifiedpodcast@gmail.com. Join our Discord. We are wonderful people to talk to. And don't forget to check us out at purifiedpodcast.com, the Professor Network. All right, Chris, take us away for the night.
All right. I can't thank you guys enough for listening to us. It definitely makes us happy to see you guys listening. And yeah, we hope you guys get plenty of shinies for Pokemon Go Fest Global. If you're on our friends list, feel free to send raids. We'll join whatever we can. But yeah, get out there, get catching, get raiding. And hopefully we'll get some fun catches to brag about next week with you guys. Peace out, guys.
Keep purifying them. Keep doing what you're doing. Have a wonderful Go Fest. And we'll see you guys next week.